guys, hello, and welcome to another day in paradise, and welcome to another edition of the Unapologetic Negropean. In today's video, I'm sorry about this, it was kind of ad hoc. You know what I was just doing, guys? I was just watching the live that Blacksit had just made. It's like 22 minutes ago. There's some rather interesting things which came up in it. And I'm beginning to think now, I was beginning to wish that I had spotted her. I had some work to do tonight, so I wasn't on YouTube earlier. But I was wishing that I would have seen that earlier, because I could have done this live now that I'm about to do about that, because it's really, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it tomorrow instead. It's interesting because of the way they reacted, basically, the way they talk about the YouTube world to their sheepscribers as if they aren't part of the YouTube world. I wanted to break that down a little bit. It would have been nice to have spoken about that tonight, but we're going to talk about that tomorrow. And tonight we're going to talk a really short time. Matter of fact, tomorrow we can have a nice long live about that, you know, good couple of hours we can chat about that, and I can invite people on. But tonight's video is only going to be around 15 minutes long anyway, right? So what did I want to do? I wanted to speak about J-Lo and Wesley Snipes, and what exactly, why do a lot of, I'm trying to pimp, I don't want to point fingers, but why do a lot of American men in general, but we're talking about black men, aren't we? Black Americans, African Americans, why do so many of them get themselves put into these types of situations? Why are we in a situation where we now have J-Lo running around telling people, hey, you know, I was kind of forced into that situation with Wesley Snipes, a woman who has essentially sold herself to the highest bidder, right, in order to gain her fame and notoriety. A woman that has gotten married so many times, it's a joke. It's almost, she is the butt end of a lot of jokes now, right? When she gets married, you know it's not going to last. Why is a woman like this, a woman who has built her fame on the backs of black men? Why now? Why say these types of things now about Wesley Snipes? Why is somebody who is apparently a professional Hollywood actress, which, guys, I know I can see some of you laughing out there at that now. Why would she be doing this now? Why would she be taking advantage of the situation now that she is, I would say that she has some prominence, right? A bit more clout, more so than Wesley Snipes has at this present moment. Why is she saying these things now for? Well, we're going to go into this now, because I have a theory. Please like, subscribe, share, click the bell notification, and please follow the Oversight YouTube channel. And we're going to get into this. Guys, I think that she is starting to, there is a number of reasons why she's starting to do this now, right? I think she's getting on the bandwagon, right? I think she's getting on the blame black men bandwagon at this present moment. She's using her fame to garner traction. She doesn't always have the attention that she wants, right? Now she's looking for attention. That is clear. And, you know, I can't understand what men saw in J-Lo in the first place. I think she's overrated. I genuinely believe she is overrated. And here she is now trying to, it sounds like she's setting him up. Sorry. It sounds like she's setting him up for something, and I don't like that. I don't like that. Hello, Stoic One. Hello. Hi. Hello, Anonymous. No matter how, K Pearls, hello. No matter how many times a person says yes to a certain advances, she is allowed to say no to the one she does not want. But why didn't she say no back then? You know, and why? Listen, she didn't have to take the job. She knew the job. She would have taken that script and she would have seen that script, right? And now she's saying, oh, well, you know, it didn't have that inside it. She could always say no. No one's forcing her to do anything. No one. But she is a typical Hollywood actress. And in their early careers, these women will pretty much do whatever needs to be done. And the men as well. The men are just as bad in Hollywood. They will do whatever they need to do in order to get on that ladder. So normally with men, they have to wear women's clothes at some point early on in their Hollywood career. Even Wesley Snipes had to do it, right? We know this. With women, it's different. With women, they need to do scenes like the ones that she did. It needs to be steamy, it needs to be real, it needs to look real. Women have a different type of makeup when it comes emotionally to their urges, right? I'm trying to not say the word S3X. Right, so you know, it's women don't want to see everything. They don't want to see everything in their full glory. They want the acting to be as pure and as hard as they want it to look that way. It doesn't need to be that way. They don't need to see things going in and out of each other like men do, right? So if you can't, you know, everybody knows what you need to be in order to become a Hollywood actress, right? You can always say no. You can always turn that down. It's not like the producers of, is it Money Train, right? It's not like the producers of Money Train were the biggest producers and directors in the world. You know, we're not talking about a mega blockbuster here, right? And, oh God, sorry. Boom. Okay. We're not talking about a mega blockbuster here. So, like I said, she can always say no. No, of course not. This woman was putting herself first. She wanted to push her own career first. Clearly, that's what came first. She wanted to get into the Hollywood elite. She wanted to eventually meet Puff Daddy, you know. She has no problems with doing whatever she needs to do with black men in order to forward her own agenda. She's not comfortable with doing it, but she knows that a lot of Latino men aren't going to look at her in the same way anymore. You understand? They won't look at her in the same way. They're not going to look at her as in she's Jenny from the block anymore. They're going to look at her as the woman that, oh, yeah, she does that with those, so we're going to move on. You understand? That is a big problem for her. So if she is going to, she can't just tip her toe in the water to try it out and see what it is like, what the dark side is like. You know, she needed to commit, and that's what she did. And I think now she's regretting it, right? Perhaps Ben Affleck has been giving her a bit of stick over it, you know. It's, perhaps he's now, telling her to come out and say her, give her word about what happened, Yeah. What's going on here? Give me a second. Better. So I'm just going to read some of your messages now. It's because she came from living in color. Living color. Yeah. She connected in Hollywood. Well, she was connected in Hollywood before that, right? The first time I ever saw her on British TV was way back in 1992. She was in Janet Jackson's music video, Janet. That's the way love goes. That's the way love goes. She's in that video. I remember her from that. So she had her foot in the door quite some time ago, perhaps even as early as the late 1980s. Back in them days, if you wanted to become a professional actress and you made that commitment to say, hey, do you know what? We're going to do this. I'm going to go the dark side. I'm going to go to the dark side. Interracial relationships in Hollywood were always seen as a way of blackballing your own career if you were a non-black woman, right? Do you remember Jungle Fever? What happened to that actress? You always see the non-black women sort of go to the point of perhaps being flirtatious, but it doesn't really cross that boundary, especially back in the 80s and the 90s. Those people in Hollywood, those people in Hollywood, those kind of guys did not want to see that clearly. Yeah, sorry, movement. I'm going to speak to you about that in 1 minute. So this is the situation she's in. I'm actually going to get back to this because I really want to speak about that. This is the situation we are in, right? We are in a situation where we need to be really careful as black men, right? Especially those ones who are prone to, being a bit liberal with the choice of their women, right? And Wesley Snipes he's game. He's going to be a big target now. He's a dark-skinned black man in Hollywood, right? And he's already been done for tax evasion, and he's going to be a prime target for those women who were in that situation back in the days where they had to do something with him. I wouldn't be surprised if the woman from Jungle Fever calls up and says, oh, do you know what happened? Me Too. Like the Me Too movement. So this is really sad. It really is. I know this happened quite a few weeks ago, but I wanted to address that real quickly right now because I keep having people asking me things about interracial relationships, like an absolute, I'm the absolute authority on them, but I'm not, you know. I'm just the person that has had experience with that, and from that experience, you learn that you're not supposed to give them the benefit of the doubt. You can't just trust them. You know what I'm talking about, right? The WWs. You can't trust them out and out. I know this. You know, it needs to be, the trust needs to be built up over time, over a long period of time. And even then you need to hold something a little bit back. You need to be careful regardless. I know that. But I think because the vast majority of Black American men do not date outside their race, when that time comes, the opportunity comes, when it does come, I think a lot of them make a lot of mistakes, and end up putting themselves in situations, sticky situations, like Wesley Snipes has done. So yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to say about that. So guys, I know there isn't a lot of you who do date outside your race, but if you do, then I'm telling you, be very, very careful. Lupita, let's have Lupita walked away from Weinstein. She had standards and kept to them. She's a very good woman. Yeah, yeah. But, you know, Lupita was part of the, you know, that movement where they were more focused on being a bit more inclusive, Hollywood inclusive, if you can call Hollywood inclusive. Let's have a look. Kai Pearls, I think that it's dangerous stance to take. I have heard people saying she was not a virgin anyway to justify sexual assault or, sorry, I shouldn't have said that, or harassment of a woman. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, AJ Lupita's father is a big-time politician in Kenya, so she was in a better position to pick and choose and walk away from things. That's very true. UN. Okay, a little bit off the subject. I saw on the news today, for those who refuse the V in your part of the world, they'll be liable for 4K fine. We've already had our paperwork through the post telling us, you know, you've got one more chance. They're going to give us one more chance. They're going to give us one more chance to take the V, and then afterwards, it's going to be almost like a annual tax, like 4K. You know, so that's $4,500 you have to pay annually if you don't take, if you're not up on your V's, right? If you're not up on your snake bites. That's what's going on now. It's getting to be a crazy world. I've seen what they've done in New York now as well. They've also made it mandatory for both the private sector and the public sector workers. You've all got to have the V. You've all got to have the snake bite now. So yeah, it's a crap situation. But I'm not paying anything. I just won't pay them anything. My partner, she's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this. I can't believe this. I'm worried because she's like one of those, she's never put a foot wrong in her life. Never ever done that, you know. And I'm like, yo, so what? You know, I don't get hit up by it because I'm not going to pay them anything. And I just know they're not going to pay, you know. They can't threaten me with anything. This is a nice thing about working for yourself. No one can threaten anything from you. You're your own person. So it's a nice situation. I get what you're saying about Angelina Jolie and Gwyneth Paltrow were also connected and still went along with certain things. Lupita just has integrity. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that is very, very true. Guys, I'm going to end this here. I really wanted to make this really quick, so people can come on later. So guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And please follow the Oversight channel. And I want to give an extra special thank you also to my patrons, okay? So I'll see you in the next one, guys. Thank you for joining me tonight. Until the next time, please think twice. Torah a bit. Take care. Oh, man. This thing locked up again.